Hey, what's going on YouTube? Krowcast here, and today we take a look at the Master Grade Gundam Barbatos from Iron-Blooded Orphans. Now, this mobile suit is splendid. There is just not enough adjectives in the world to describe this mobile suit. It is fantastic in every sense, way, shape, or form of the word. This thing it's an orgasm built into a model. Like, if you ever wanted to see what a female orgasm looks like or feels like, this is it. The pure euphoria I went through while building this, it's unmatched. I've never felt anything like this before. Fantastic. So I cannot wait to dive into this and just reminisce on all those emotions and memories while I was building this. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get into that, I do want to give a shout out to newtypehq.com. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video and sponsoring me. You are my bae, and I love you, New Type. Thank you so much, and Godspeed, and I hope we can just do this for long haul. Let's Thelma and Louise this shit. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to the review. Now we are going to take a look at the head sculpt first. Honestly, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Everything about this it's amazing. It's pretty, I would say it's fairly show accurate. I think the V-fins are a little bit on the long side. I really wish they would have shortened those up, but I mean, you can fix that yourself. Me personally, it actually doesn't bother me whatsoever. It kind of just adds to the overall like semi-redesign of the mobile suit. You know, it's not necessarily a true redesign, but there's a lot of new stuff on here, and there's a lot of features with the mobile suit that was not featured in the anime. So I kind of just chalk it up to that. I think it looks great. So I personally don't have like gripes. I'm not raising up pitchforks and everything. I think it looks great. The eyes are going to be a clear green, but obviously they are going to be a very dark green. So seeing through it or having it kind of like light up, it's not really going to happen. So instead, you got these two stickers that you can just slap right on top, but I am going to be painting this mobile suit, so I just didn't even do that. I got a lot of plans with this, so I really didn't want to put the stickers on there and have to remove all the adhesive. I thought it'd be more of a hassle and pain than what's necessary. Now we're taking a look at the body. I'm not going to go into like the articulation here. I'm just kind of showing you all the up close details. But yeah, the body itself is beautiful. This part right here is going to be a clear red, and then obviously it's going to have a cockpit function. So if you really want to put Mika right in there, you can. But I'm going to keep Mikazuki out because I'm going to paint the regular pilot, and the pilot's going to be standing on the outside. So wouldn't make any sense to have the pilot both in here and standing out. So I'll probably paint both, and then if I ever want to put Mikazuki in there, I'll go ahead and do that. But overall, the details on the body is fine. Not really too much like there's not much going on with the body in terms of like external like details or any kind of like panel lining. It's kind of more your flat surfaces. Don't really have any problems with that though. And down here at the waist, I mean, this is going to have so much nice little detail. So you can just see right there all the pistons, hydraulics, and all that. This is going to have a lot of like just engraving on the inside. So if you really want to, do any kind of like separate painting, masking, and then do like some color separation on these parts, you could definitely do that with these. Me personally, I'm probably not going to do that, at least not for the inner frame stuff. I'll probably just keep it, one tone, and maybe do some like slight detail painting, like these, like, I don't know what the hell that is. Yeah, I don't know what part that would be right there. It's like, it looks almost like a thruster if I could try and focus. I don't know what the hell that's going to be, like exhaust or something. So I don't know what I'll paint that. Maybe paint it like a darker shade of maybe gunmetal or something. But we'll see later on down the road. Now at the arms, and we'll start with the shoulders, you're going to have this clear red right here. Well, I guess this is more clear pinkish, but on the runner it looked pretty red. However, this is going to look really good, so if you want to paint this up and all that, maybe put some silver on the back so that way it brightens up, you can definitely do that as well. Thank God they put this as actual yellow, because previously this is usually just white and kind of sucks, but that looks good. The overall details on the arms are great. It's going to have a lot of panel lining opportunities. I'll get into the arms a little bit later, but yeah, just looking all around, you got the hydraulics and like pipings and all here, right? Like, this is going to have a lot of inner frame work. So if you're just looking around, you're like, man, I really want to have a fine inner frame detail. Like, this is going to be your kit. I don't think there's a kit out there that's going to exceed on inner frame detailing. Maybe some old Xeon Master Grades, but I think for the most part, this is definitely going to take the lead and all that. Now for the waist, waist is not really anything special. It has some like decent detailing, but for the most part, I mean, you're not going to get anything too special. These are obviously thrusters. If I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but yeah, these are going to be thrusters, so they can move back. Yeah, I'll cover that in the articulation. On the back over here, though, you're going to have a little bit of extra detailing you can put right there. Just some little like scribed in panels. You know, just some nice stuff. So if you do want to paint different colors, you could definitely do so. Especially if you want to paint maybe like this is probably what I'm going to do. Paint this bottom white part maybe a lighter shade than this top. So probably this top right here is going to be more of a darker color, maybe like an egg white, and then I'll keep this more of a pure white. So that's kind of like some of the things I'm looking at, just to kind of, you know, change it up. Now we're just looking at the legs. They did get the black right here, which is great. But they're gonna have some decent panel lines and some decent like little scribed in, well, etched in details right there, and just kind of looking more all around. You got these little like raised parts, so you can go ahead and paint those. That's what I'm gonna do, like all this little raised indentions. I'm gonna paint that up. This is gonna be a clear red once again, and just looking around. I mean, this is just the front. Wait till we get to the back, my boys. But this all looks great. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful detail work all inside here. Now let's get into the back. Oh my god, this thing, look at it. Look how fantastic that is. This is getting painted. All of this, you don't want to leave all this just like normal, you know, dull grayish looking color. You want to paint that up, my boys. There's like panels, there's things that just like moves all around. I'm not trying to give you spoilers, but I mean, like when you move this down, I mean, you got more shit in here. So I'm gonna have my work cut out for me, but because Zaco Aurealis wants to, you know, listen in on my secret conversations in my house. I was discussing I was gonna paint this with, you know, myself, and he already kind of beat me to it. So I'm gonna try and one up him, and I'm gonna paint my goddamn ass off. But yeah, these legs are looking scrumptious. Now looking on the backpack, you're gonna have some more little details, and you can see like some little ticks and, you know, little markings right there. So if you want to just panel line that, you definitely can. Inside the thruster is gonna have some detail work as well. So let me try and focus in on that. All right, so you can see just a little bit. I know it's a little bit dark, but yeah, they got some thrusters in there. We got some more panels. I mean, this is looking great. Lots of stuff that you can go ahead and do with this backpack. Now we take a look at the hands, or manipulators, how you want to call them. They are going to have some great detail all over it. Oh my god. And not only that, it just looks good. I mean, these are going to be like some nice claws. So if you really want that, like, I don't know, animalistic look of your mobile suit, these are just going to look just fantastic. So really happy about these being included. And you also get this closed fist. So if you just, you know, wanted to stand up normally, hey, you're going to have some closed fists. I don't think it looks as great as like the open hands, but they do a job. You know, it's just a closed hand, so nothing too spectacular. And lastly, you are going to get this open hand for basically, you know, carrying any kind of accessories. So if you really want to you know, hold the mace, hold the weapons, this is what you're going to use. Now you're going to get two Mika pilots. So one is going to be like a shirtless pilot, so you just put him right in the cockpit, and then the other one is going to be, you know, just has a Tekkadan jacket on. Looks really good. I really want to paint this and just see how I can bring this to life, and this is what I'm going to display with the piece. And you are going to get a marking sticker sheet, but honestly, I don't want to use this. I'm pretty sure I can find, you know, some of the Tekkadan water slides that are already existing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can find some that are the same size, but to be frank, I really don't even want the Tekkadan sticker on the mobile suit, because I don't know, I don't think it's really that, it's not that important. Like, whenever the Lupus comes out, or Lupus Rex, at that point I'll have a Tekkadan sticker on there. But for this mobile suit, I think I want to keep it fairly simplistic, and I already have a bunch of caution signs and little warnings and all that. So most of these I won't even really need on the sticker sheet. I can use this for like smaller high grade projects or smaller master grade projects. But yeah, that's what you're gonna get.
And here's the inner frame. Everything about it looks fantastic. I just love it. I honestly was a little underwhelmed when I, you know, first saw the promotional photos, but then just looking more and more now, actually having it in my hands, this is so intricate. It has so much going on with it that you may not notice, you know, first glance or even first build, but messing with it a few times, you're gonna notice just some amazing work behind the scenes. Now just overlooking some of the inner frame, I mean, this is going to have its own individual movement right here at the top of the torso. So, I mean, that's looking really good. And then this little hydraulic piping, that's going to move as well when you do that little ab crunch. I mean, there's not much else I can really show you about this kit that I've, kind of already shown through the articulation and everything. But, oh man, this is just, the frame itself is super beautiful. Like, I would honestly recommend you buying 2 just to have one in the inner frame, like just standing like right next to the actual model kit, and obviously the other one, just being the model kit. That's something I'm probably going to do, is just like paint the inner frame as much as I can, and then buy another one, or actually just buy another Barbatos just to paint that inner frame up, and just do this one up in the original weathering colors I had imagined. This is just I don't know, man, it kind of just takes all words away from me. It's just a beautiful, beautiful inner frame. So whenever you're building this, I mean, honestly, try to appreciate as much as possible. Like these little hydraulic pipings, this stuff collapses. So whenever you are like bending the legs and all that, this is going to collapse, and it's going to just allow that extra little movement. So I don't know, man. This is just amazing. Now for the articulation section, this is going to be a minute because there's a lot going on with this mobile suit. But starting with the head, you are going to have like a hinge right here at the bottom, so that can move, and then it's going to be on a ball joint. I would say the head is fairly limited, and also the like red beard thing often hits the top of the chest, so that kind of starts popping up. Just be careful with that, but for the most part, it's not bad. I mean, the articulation isn't horrible, but it's only going to look up like that far, so it's not like super impressive. Now here's where things get interesting. So you're gonna have these 2 pistons, and they're gonna be on a ball joint, and like a ball and socket right inside there, as you can see. So you gotta be careful, but basically when you move this around, you're going to see, let me try and move this around, you're gonna see the piston basically moving in and out. Same thing with the top, this is going to move in and out whenever you kind of move it around. This whole section right here, this whole inner like joint system for the inner frame, it was kind of a pain in the ass to get, and I did break 2 of the nubs. So whenever you're building this, be careful when you're putting it in, because it's going to have those 2 pegs. Don't try and force anything, because those pegs are going to be really weak. And even if you break it, which I did, there's a snapping mechanism that happens on the inside, so it still is actually going to stay. But since I am going to be disassembling this, I don't know how well things are going to be holding up together whenever I disassemble it and put it back together when I paint it. So be careful with it in the future. However, everything else is working really fine. Shoulder's going to be working up and down. You got bicep swivel. I mean, pretty much very far movement in the front. Let's see. Elbow is going to be moving quite a ways. Now this part right here can actually move individually. So moving the elbow, there is going to be a piston here. Don't move it like super far. I try not to go like the full, like, see, you can already see it just pops out. So I don't know, man, I guess they didn't measure it appropriately, because when you go too far, that piston is now going to pop out. So it's not a hassle to put back in, but it is a hassle just in general. Now for the wrist, this is going to be on a peg, so this can move back and forth. And then you can also take this and rotate it 90 degrees down. Like, so whenever you're holding the mace, you can just have it flush, like you've seen it pretty much like in the screenshots and anime and all that. But this can also move back and forth like so. Now looking at the waist, this thing is just a monster. It obviously is going to move back and forth like this, and then up and down, which is crazy because almost every movement you make with this, these pistons are going to have some kind of movement, and these don't have any issues. Like, I haven't had any of them like pop out of socket or something, so it's looking great. Any kind of like torso bend is just going to be, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Now for the waist and front skirts, this is just going to be on a ball joint. These are going to be on a peg, so these can just move back and forth all around. The back skirts can also move out. Now for the leg, the peg right here on the inside, that can move up and down. This part of the leg can move all the way forward, can move to the side pretty damn far, and can move backwards pretty much all the way. Now this part of the thigh can move around, and this will expose that little gold little part right there, which it doesn't look horrible, but I would recommend just painting that. Now this whole section of the leg, this is where things get super interesting, and there's a lot of angles that we need to cover. So for the most part, this is going to have a normal bend.
It's going to be like that. Yeah, about right there. So with this, you can actually extend this even further. And how you do this is you take this little piece, and like how I showed you earlier, you just move that down, and you're going to get an even further bend, and then this is also going to separate. So I mean, this is also going to show a little bit of inner frame right here, but also that bend is going to be just even better. And of course, this piston, if you get it right, you can actually make this move as well. These leg thrusters can also move up and down. Coming down here at the leg, this part can actually move out, so that way you can, you can basically hide all this like inner frame work right here. But with that, you're not really going to be able to move side to side. But if you push this out, then you can get some nice little ankle pivots. This ankle skirt armor can move back and forth. Toe can bend down. The whole foot can move back and forth, so this is going to expose another piston. And can turn left and right. Now finally coming to the back, this will be more incorporated with the weapons, but this part can come out and it's going to be on, basically a little piston right here, which actually holds up fairly well, but this is how you get like the smoothbore weapon underneath the arm, and then of course the thruster that can move out. So even without its weapons, it is an intimidating demon to say the least. With its hands, it can easily rip through any machine that's going to be coming through its path. But it does have weapons, so let's go ahead and take a look. For the first weapon, we are going to have the long sword, which is just going to be two pieces. One is going to be the long gray sword bit, and then this little white piece right here. So taking a look up close, you're going to see a lot of nice detail all inside there, which, I mean, I love it. I love every single ounce of detail I can get out of this kit. It gives me more to work with whenever I'm doing my painting. So I'm like, man, what else can I do to this? It's like, everything's already laid out in front of me. All I have to do is do the caveman job of just spraying paint to plastic, and that is it. Everything else is already done. So there's not need for like plot plate or anything. There's really not much else to do on this kit. Maybe a little extra scribing if you just want to be a little bit more like Kentucky it up a little bit. But for the most part, this amount of detail is perfect. And next we are going to have the mace. Now I did actually have an incident with this. So the pictures that you see with all the boxes stacked, I stacked a couple boxes too high and broke this little part right here. But honestly, I'm probably going to break this part again. I did like sand it down, and I kind of like just got it back to where it was, but I might just break it because of the fact that I'm going to weather this kit a lot. And having like some small breakage on the mace itself just makes it look like it actually went through some battles. So I'll probably just break that off again, break off a couple of other little edges. Not going overboard with it, but yeah, the mace itself looks great. This is the problem I have with it though. You see how like you have all these gaps right here? It's because they did this. They included a goddamn set of knives. Or daggers, whatever the hell you want to call them. This is stupid. I'm sorry. I'm putting this right back in there. Maybe it's just my personal preference, and it's good to have options, but I don't think those knives are canon, and they're just kind of added features to the Master Grade for no reason. I can accept details being added, features of like maybe extra pistons. I'm okay with that. But adding an entire new weapon onto a main weapon such as the mace, I think was a bad move. Now this is going to have a little gimmick. You can you have a little pike on the side here. If you push this, you get this part coming out, and then you can bring it out just a little bit more. So that looks cool. If you want to leave it displayed like that, you sure can. But otherwise, I'm going to keep mine safely stored. Okay, next we have the smooth bore gun. Look at the details on this. I mean, I'm already seeing like a possibility of masking all these little parts right here so that way I can paint these different, because I don't want this whole block right here. Even though it looks good in brown, I'm probably going to go with maybe a different shade of gray. I don't know. I'm thinking about like gray for this and then gunmetal for the barrel. That's kind of like what I'm imagining. But yeah, just looking at all the etched in details, there's a lot of options here. I mean, you can do a large amount of color separation, which that's my possibility. I'm thinking about like, possibly gray with some green and just like have all that green, this all gray. I don't know, man. I got a lot of ideas, so we'll see in the final product. But you got the handle right here, which can move back and forth. And then this is basically the machine gun part, and this can move back and forth. So that's actually really cool, so you can adjust it however you want. Now this part clips onto the back, which I will show whenever I'm displaying all the weapons onto the backpack, but this can move up and down. You do get a green sticker right here for this part. And you're also going to have the barrel, which has like some white parts right there, just kind of break up the color. Looks good though. Overall, don't have any issues. Now this part can come out and it will swivel over. You bring it over here and you're just going to slide this, try and be ever so gently. And you're going to clip that in like so. Now it's pretty much ready to be stored in the back. Now storing the weapons in the backpack, it doesn't really take much. Kind of just take this part out and you're gonna just take these little bits right here and you're going to push them out like so, and you can just push that right back in. And for the smoothbore gun, you can just slide it like so, and generally it's not gonna have any kind of back heaviness if you position it right. I know I'm kind of going against my word with the way it's moving backwards like that, but if you get it in the right position, honestly this is not going to be any issue. Now for the sword and mace, you're going to want to do the same thing over here, and then you're going to slide this bit all the way to here and just slide this right into place like so. Now the mace works pretty much the same exact way, so you're just going to slide this like this and pop it right into the backpack. Now I don't think weapon storage has ever looked better than this. Now the last accessory that's going to come with this kit is going to be a little stand adapter. I will display this whenever I'm going through the scenario battle, but for the most part, yeah, that's what you got. Now for comparisons, here he is next to the high resolution model Barbatos. Obviously a huge difference in terms of just plastic quality. They both have their pros when it comes to the external looks. I do absolutely love and favor the design of the Master Grade, but the high res does have something special to it. However, two major things with that, well actually I would say like about 5 major things with the high resolution model. It's a hand grenade, like just straight up hand grenade. I absolutely hate handling that mobile suit. 2, it doesn't come with a mace. That's stupid. 3, I don't really like the super edgy design. I don't know. I really prefer the more like smooth look of the Master Grade, but the high resolution model does have its place and I don't mind it. And then I would just say it's horrible to pose. Like it cannot hold too many poses. It's a miracle I even got into this one. But for the most part, yeah, it's not as amazing as the Master Grade. Now for the no grade, honestly, the no grade isn't bad. I really just would say the big issues with the no grade, or I guess the full mechanics, is some of the articulation and the joints. It's just piss poor. So I did paint mine up, but even when I painted it and tried to tighten up the joints, that shoulder joint when holding the mace, it's horrible. And also, the no grade doesn't come with a mace. This mace actually comes with, I believe, the 6th form Barbatos. So that was actually the only reason I bought the 6th form, because I don't even like that form. I think that one looks ugly. But I wanted the mace, and I gave it to him. But other than that, I mean, it's okay. If you really want something super cheap and you really just cannot afford the Master Grade, go for the no grade. Or even, I would even say better yet, go for the high grade. The high grade is actually fantastic. I don't have it anymore. I gave it away. But the 1/100 Barbatos is actually really good still. So if you really want to just have one in your collection, hey, go with the 1/100. Gundam Universe, get this this thing's fucking trash. Oh no, what is a Kamaris doing over here? Hopefully it's not trying to rampage through this peaceful city. Well, looks like we got Barbatos right here on the scene. He's carrying his mace, he's carrying his smoothbore weapon, and he's carrying his sword. So hopefully everything will be fine now that he's here. And even with the first attack performed by Kamaris, a lunging spear attack, the Barbatos was able to accurately block it with no issues. But what will he do next? Now he was able to put the Kamaris in an off-balance state, and with the assistance of the mace, he's able to go in for the kill. Ooh, that is a rough spot to get a mace in. But ultimately, Barbatos completed his mission. He was able to protect the city, and hopefully there's no more danger to arise. I wouldn't celebrate just yet. Looks like we have Gusan right here in the back. The Barbatos was able to move out of the way pretty quickly, but unfortunately lost his mace in the due process. He does have a smoothbore gun to deliver some good machine gun firepower as well as heavy artillery. So let's see if the Gusan is going to have any chance on fighting back. With a sword in hand, this demon is on a pathway of destruction. Its swift, agile movements, I highly doubt anything's going to be able to keep up with it. On top of that, this Gusan is about to have a bad day. And with a quick strike down, the Gusion is rendered immobile. Barbatos is the winner. Now for the final thoughts, I'm going to start off with the cons. Let's see. The problem I do have with this thing is it's not so much a hand grenade, but there's a lot of parts that just come undone and that do snap off. Namely, the shoulders. Those tend to pop off every once in a while. Nothing really wrong with the legs. I kind of have pretty much no issue with the legs. The waist is completely fine. The body, it's mostly with the shoulders, to be honest. Those little like pistons, they always pop off. And then when you have any kind of weapons on the backpack, some of it can get a little loose, especially the mace as well as the sword. But for the most part, the smoothbore weapon can stay intact on the back. Now getting the smoothbore weapon into the hand and under the shoulder, it's a little bit of a handful, but not really too much of an issue. Now also the construction of this mobile suit it's not complicated, because I think that's the wrong word. It's definitely taskful, and you have to be careful. That's probably like the best way I can get around that. But other than that, I kind of don't have any issues. The posability is fine. You just got to make sure you're clenching the parts with both hands. Don't just like manhandle it. Please be as gentle as possible, because I really haven't had anything outside those two little pegs break, but I am super worried that something might break in the future. Now for the pros, honestly, there's probably too many to list, to be honest. This thing is a posing master. It just can pull off so many dynamic poses and just look amazing doing them all. Going back to the cons, like I mentioned, dealing with some of the articulation is a little bit handful. Just because parts are kind of like popping in and out. Getting the hands into the proper slot for the mace is also a little troublesome, but once you get everything down packed, this thing is going to look amazing whenever you have it posed. So yeah, I mean the pros, it definitely goes all the way to articulation. Also just the engineering that went into this beast. I mean, bravo Bandai, you made Barbatos just perfected. I honestly cannot think of a way to make this kit or just this design any better outside of perhaps a perfect grade. But even then, I think they would probably go for a more bulky design, and it won't be as agile looking as the master grade. So yeah, it looks amazing. I absolutely love it. Everything about it, perfection. The details, perfection. The lack of actual stickers, like you only get 3 stickers, 2 for the eyes and then 1 for that scope for the smoothbore, perfection. So that's pretty much all I got. I don't really have much else that I could say on the pros, because it's just everything is a pro, outside of just the minor nitpicks I have for the cons. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, the price point, with it being like $45, oh my god, that's amazing. So yeah, if you really want to pick this up, I mean, you have to. There's no other way around it. Just go get it as soon as you can. And if you do want to pick this up, go to newtypehq.com, pick it up for yourself, and just have a blast. But hey, that's it for me, guys. Definitely thank you all for watching. Honestly, this review was a little bit intimidating because I just really didn't feel like I can do the master grade Barbatos justice. But I hope I did, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So that's it for me, guys. I'm about to go ahead and start building some more. So I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye. And I'd like to give a quick shout out to all my members of the channel. Honestly, guys, without your help, things would be so much harder to actually produce content on this channel. So thank you so much for supporting me, and I'm just extremely grateful. But thank you very much.